Dum 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 dum. Magic moments when them plans is working.
Greetings, boys and gits, and welcome again to Dread Waaagh Gaming. And that's Dread Waaagh Gaming, for anyone that didn't understand that. Coming up in this episode, we've got a bit of a mishmash, as I warned a few of you in the Facebook group, the Dread Waaagh Gaming group that is. I don't have a main body of content, it's just a mishmash. So this week's news, also, I will warn you, there's a little section in the middle there where the camera goes in and out of focus a little bit. It's because I've just recently updated my phone, which is my camera, and it's behaving like a madman. So I'm trying to get to grips with it all over again. It's like having a brand new phone. It's very annoying, and I wish I hadn't done it right before recording an episode. So there you go. Lesson learned. Enjoy the news. Hello and welcome to the news. This week we have only fantastic news because I've just reached 500 subscribers and 10,000 views. That's amazing. I'm so excited about it that I'm doing an amazing competition. It's the Dread Captain competition. Well, what's that you're asking? Well, what I'm asking you guys to do is create an original image of an ORK freebooter captain with a dread squig. And you got to send that image to dreadwaargaming@gmail.com. If you've got an original painting, drawing or sketch and you want to send me a physical image, just contact me at that email address and I'll give you a postal address to send it to. Now, what do you get out of all this, I hear you ask? Well, there's going to be 3 amazing prizes and I'm going to be announcing them when I get to 750 subscribers. Those 3 prizes will be 3 amazing third-party company models. So there'll be 3 chances to win 3 different models from 3 third-party companies, because you guys know I do love to champion the third-party companies because I really do like what they do for us. So, well, how do you win? What's the stipulation? Well, when we get to 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to open it up to the floor. When we have 1,000 subscribers, each one of those subscribers will have a vote. So I'm going to put up all of your images on my desk behind me. As you may know, I'm revamping the desk. So I'm going to put a little gallery where I can pin up your images behind me, and you'll be able to see exactly how many chances or how many other, what the competition's like, what the odds are of winning. You know, if there's only 4 images behind me, then there's only one of them is going to be a loser. 3 of them are winning, aren't they? So you'll be able to see the odds right behind me, and I hope you guys fall in love with some of the images and give them a good vote when it comes around. But get those images sent off to me at dreadwaargaming@gmail.com and we'll have a lovely competition, nice giveaway, a bit of interaction with the community. That's what it's all about, isn't it, really? Also in the news, or not really quite yet, there's been whispers of something to do with Armageddon. That surely means my April Fool's joke might actually become a reality. Let's hope. Also, this week, another bit of fantastic news. I got some amazing parcels from my amazing community. This is the interaction I'm talking about, and I'll show you that right now. Right, guys, this week is a bit of a mishmash, as I told you. My desk is being taken apart and revamped and stuff like this. I've got my first sample of the new paint racks I'm going to be using. This is from hobbymad.ie. It's like a perspex sort of plastic. Now they're designed to be a sort of a universal paint rack, so you will be able to fit your Vallejo type bottles, or if you've got the slightly larger ones like I do for transfer, or they fit on there absolutely fine. Little bit of space for them. Fits your old GWs, your new GWs, your panniers, your big wash bottles, metallics, Vallejo metallics, and even the Vallejo surface primers, the smaller ones like that. So, awesome product. I'm really looking forward to having a stack of these on the shelf there. This is the first prototype, this one. There was a little bit of an issue with the courier. It drop kicked the box by the looks of it. It was in a terrible state, so the corner of it's got a little bit damaged, but yeah, that's courier services for you, isn't it? They don't actually teach them what the word fragile really means. But anyway, aside from that, right, Robert Hobbymad sent me something really, really cool that put a massive smile on my face for the rest of the day. I'm really happy about that. Another little rack he made for me, look. Dread Waaagh Gaming. Oh, I was so happy when I saw this. I went running over to knock on my neighbour and give him a little knock and go, look at this! So good. Really happy with it. Awesome stuff. So obviously, I wouldn't be surprised if it's a service that Rob will be providing for others. I'm sure if he can do that for me as a little present, I'm sure that if people are willing to pay, he's probably willing to do that sort of emblems and stuff like that on some of his products. That'd be awesome, wouldn't it? Personalised racks. Awesome! So yeah, that's one thing to be excited about. The other exciting thing is that one of my viewers, Luke, has sent me a parcel, and I've just opened the top of it and I saw that there was a note and a surprise. So I thought, you know what? And I saw old school GW wrapping in there, so I thought, this has got to be safe on camera. So, RT! Luke says, hey dude, thanks for the videos. Very welcome. Enjoy your model. I look forward to seeing it on your channel. So do we all. I'd rather not be named, and I don't want any shout outs or anything. Oops. See, this is what happens when you open these things live. But I'm happy to be referred to as a fan of the channel. Well, Luke, fan of channel. I didn't mention any last name, so there you go. Luke's as far as we'll go. I'll keep you in mind when looking on eBay in future. Cheers. Have a great day, Luke. And he did me a grim little drawing there. Awesome. What a cool dude. I love the way he actually didn't care to change my name and put the extra R's in because he knew I'd appreciate it. Artie. Surprise! So this is the extra surprise that he's packed in for me. Let's have a little look. Oh, this is the first time I've been sent well, both these things are like my first sort of like fan gifts as such. This is amazing. Oh, cool. Some old school shooters, some loose ones. Wicked sauce. Nice one, Luke. Sorry, keep naming him. It's not like people can't go back now and go, who? What was the name of that dude? Wicked, wicked. So we've got an ammo run, standard ammo run, but then, oh look, that's some appreciation for that. I'll have to get that out. So we've got the standard ammo run that comes with the knobs. So I'll just show you which one I'm talking about, just so you know. It's the little dude with the little ammo box. You know that one? So we've got one of those, and the little head fins in the baggie too. Oh, look, it's not the head, actually, is it? Oh no, the head's there. There it is. Yeah. So tiny. Right, but the old school thing in that package, look, got one of the old school little Gretchen. How cool is that? Love that, because I've actually got a couple of the little metal ones as well, but I haven't got other than the really naff plastic ones. Do you remember the really horrible looking ones? I had a few of those, but that's one of the cool ones, so I like that. Nice one. Ooh. Ah! No! Right, anyway, on to the main event right now. The reason that Lucas sent me this package in the first place is because he saw my first Dear Dread, in which I was talking about when I first got into the hobby and how I went to Gamesday '98, and it was my first ever Gamesday, and that was when I fell in love with orcs. It was when Gorkamorka was coming out and they had all the new stuff, and that was the time when they had the Gamesday knob, the Gorkamorka knob. That is old school bag. Do you remember them? I do. I'm gonna have to keep that. That's gonna have to stay in the workshop here in some respect, some way, somehow. It's very cool. I do love my old school trips down memory lane, I really do. Right, so be careful opening this. So basically what Lucas sent me is that old school Gorkamorka knob, because I said it's pain to try and find, and it's usually really expensive too. And so Luke took the time to scour eBay and check a few other auction sites and whatnot, and just keep his eye out for it, and found it at a good price and nabbed it quickly. And then he sent me a message to say, here look, I've got you that model that you wanted. So absolute legend. I'm just getting the wrapping off. It's like a kid at Christmas. I can't wait to get it open. I don't want to damage it though. Oh my god. Okay. Such nostalgia. Guys, That's what I paid as a little kiddie wink, £4. And you know, I probably had very limited funds on that Gamesday. I would have been 98, so I would have been 13 years old, right? I would have only been into the hobby for a little while. I had been doing a little bit of Warhammer before, and I'd only just started getting into sort of Necromunda and 40k when Gorkamorka came out. I weren't sure if I was going to play Gorkamorka. I didn't actually. I realised that you could also use the orcs in 40k, and so I thought I'd go with the 40k because that was the more popular game. This model, oh my god, it's so cool, right? It's what made orcs cool. Basically, orcs were always cool, of course, but they underwent a huge revamp at the time that Gorkamorka came out, and just after that too, because the youths that they had in Gorkamorka are a bit naff, really. They're the same as that's why the boys on the back of the old war buggy that we had for years and the war track, those drivers, those riders and that, and the gunner were Gorkamorka youths. So they were like youth boys. That's why they're small. But they are terribly badly detailed. They're really awful. So yeah, I'm glad that we got here. And this was the model that sort of got people going, that's what you need to do, more of that please. And shortly after we got the metal knobs, the metal knobs that I'll show you which ones I'm talking about now. Those old school chappies, remember the metal guys? They came shortly after, multi-part metal, and they were really good. You did have to pin the arms, otherwise they were definitely going to break. But yeah, they were awesome, really good. This one there's no pinning really to do because the head will just glue on there, no problem. Bit of green stuff around it and stuff. I'm going to unbox this and paint it, but I'm not going to do it just yet. I'm going to let this be on display in the studio here for a couple of weeks, because I'm not going to paint it just yet anyway, because I've got to redo my studio anyway. So no point in letting it gather dust. Beautiful in its little old box anyway, and I just want to be able to see it like that. So I don't want to rip it out just yet. What's the point of spoiling it just yet? I just want to look at it. So yeah, guys, I am over the moon happy. I've had a fantastic week. Great interacting with the community. I'm really starting to enjoy it. I'm sorry to those few of you that can't take a joke. April Fools and all that. I lost, oh god blimey, my subscriber count was like the stock market for a couple of hours there. Because obviously European time is different to US time, so obviously when it's April Fools here it's not quite there. So some of them just couldn't quite grasp the comedic aspect of a joke. So some people dropped out, but then a load more joined in, and then a few dropped out, and a load more joined in. So it was literally going up and down. I've never seen it go up and down like that before. It's quite interesting, but entertaining nonetheless. And the sorts of viewers I want are those that can take a joke. So now, for anyone who's enjoyed the Orc Central series, I hope you'll enjoy this little collection of loot that I picked up just recently. I picked this up from a small model toy cars, model aeroplanes and that sort of model shop. It's a place that does mostly sort of the Revel and the Humbrol stuff and that sort of gear, you know. They don't do any GW stuff. That's left to the other place in town that I usually get my GW stuff from, the place I told you about that's really awesome called Dungeons and Donuts, where you can sit and have a coffee and a donut, and the donuts there are awesome too. And you can buy your GW stuff and play board games and all sorts of stuff. It's a really cool store. But this guy's store, it's kind of hidden in the bottom of our shopping centre. And he's a really nice fella, really friendly chap. And I've chatted to him at length a couple of times before. So he sold me this tank, but he also, I'll just put that back there for a moment. He also invited me along to this, the Irish Vintage Magazine Miniature World. And this is taking place next weekend, or this coming weekend. So I'm going to go to this, and I'm going to do a report from the miniature world for you guys, and see what there is for our use there, and see if I can make some connections too. But yeah, I'm going to go along, see what it's all about. But back to this tank.
let's have a little look, shall we? So I just thought there'd be some useful bits in here, most likely. I couldn't actually open the box in the shop because it was sealed. I don't want to be rude. It's got the instructions. Probably a far cry from GW's colourful instructions. Yeah, just black and white. Very basic. Doesn't come with any options, and no colour painting guide. God, we have become fussy, haven't we, eh? Right, so we got some sprue. See, so the reason I bought this is not to build that tank. The reason I bought this is to use those tracks. The rest of it is just armour that's useful. So, yeah, armour. Lovely, lovely. I will use these as armour bits and turret bits and bits and bobs. They're just bits for the bits box. And I do love a full bits box. This sprue is mostly just little hyper details, little nothings really. Nothing special. And then we have tracks, or track covers things. Oh, there we are, focus. I like the welds. The welds are nice. See the weld lines? Very nice. Very good. I'll study that in detail actually, just for my own practice. 2 of those. Oh, cogs and wheels, cogs and wheels. That's what we like. And anybody that does scratch building will tell you, wheels are invaluable. They're so useful. It's so hard making your own. That's a huge piece of armour. What a huge tank that would be. Blimey. It's massive. Well, well, well. More tracky bits. Oh, that's the underside of it. Yeah, it's massive, man. It's huge. Well, maybe I'll use it for something at some stage. Yeah, more shapes. Oh, now this made the whole box worthwhile. Nice piece of mesh. Let's bring it up to the camera. Where are you? Go on, focus, focus. There. That is nice. That is really useful. Love it. Fantastic. Tracks. Yeah, they're flexible type. Very useful. Very cool. Sorry about the focus. There we are. Much better for you. So yeah, quite a long bit of that as well. So that's useful. Some little hyper details again. Some chain. Yeah, just little bits. Yeah. So I just thought that was. Oh, hello. We've got another fantastic hyper detail. Look. Lovely. I love those sorts of things. Oh yeah, baby. So yeah, I just thought it was just nice to really just go in the shop and say hello to the guy, because I hadn't been in there for ages and bought anything, you know, and he didn't have anything else that was new, no new paints or anything like that. So I just thought I'd buy a tank because, yeah, why not? It's nice to support your local hobby stores, isn't it? And I don't want to see him go. It's nice to see him around. So yeah, epic unboxing. I bought this from Porix. Yes, that is Porrick. That's Irish spelling for you. Discount store, €3. It's a build your own construction digger. Easy snap together, no glue required. I haven't looked at it, but I saw that it's like on sprue and like it's got some track bits and stuff, so I thought there might be something useful in there. And for €3, even if there ain't anything I can actually use on a model, I can use it actually as scrap for my scrap thing. So I thought, why not? So let's have a little look. And have I got a knife handy yet? Ping! There you go. Make my own sound effects this time. Cool. So, have a little look. Oh, how exciting. I know this is what you guys tune in for. The unboxings of the good stuff. Oh yeah. This is something for the loot. This is, see that? Sorted! Right, so. Well, these look really cool. Definitely can use those in your own tank. for tank tracks, you know. So if you're making your own tracks and stuff, these wheel bits inside, lovely details. So having the 2 of those, really handy. Yeah, well, sure we'll find a use for that in the scrap heap. That can actually be used on a vehicle, no trouble. That can easily be part of the top of a battle wagon or something like that, you know, no problem. Gun wagon, something like that. Awesome. Old farmer joking, I'll go and find himself a holder dig somewhere else. He can sod off. Don't want you, mate. Sorry, dude. Right, that's cool. Oh, look at this. Oh, I'm actually viewing this from behind the camera. I ain't even actually looking at it over the camera. So I'm sharing your view, guys. Oh, hello. That's already connected there. That would be an easy disconnect. Ah, cool. €3. I ain't moaning. I've got some little details and some bits of plastic. No problem. And I'm not moaning. Look, got myself a little motor gear system. Look, even if I just break that up and use them little cogs, that's cool. So €3. Happy. Instruction manual. Oh, it's not colour. No painting guide. What a load of naff, isn't it? Now, while I was at the discount store, I bought some swatters. I bought 3 of them. They come in a pack of 3. Now, the reason I bought them wasn't because I want to kill flies. Not just yet. It was because I like this mesh. Right? And these were so cheap. And this is plastic, see? And it's quite large. So, I mean, I already just used a bit of some of the fingers on my terrain piece there. You might have noticed some yellow bits. That was from one of these. Very good indeed. So you look out for things that's got like detail like that. Another thing that's similar was this. It was one of those frying pan-y things. So I cut the mesh out. That's going to be really handy to make a fence. Right? If I want to make myself some fence posts and I cut out sections of this and I have this as the actual fence. Oh, it's going to be awesome, that, isn't it? Do you think? I do. So yeah, $1.50 or £1 or something like that. Nothing, is it really? Euro, like €1.50. Another thing that's cool from cheap shops is cheap super glue. Sorry about my hands, I've been gardening, so I've been butchered by the plants. But yeah, the cheap super glues. I don't buy the really cheap ones where you get like loads in a pack, because generally they're really naff. But if you get the cheap shops quality one, quality, then yeah, it's good for terrain. So don't waste your good glue, like your good stuff. Don't be using that on your terrain, because what a waste. And it's really expensive and it's really good for other things. Use that stuff. So yeah, pro tip. Actually, talking of pro tips, I'm going to take you shopping for a few tools and bits and bobs right now.
That one there will do. There you go. Some more cheap knives, $1.50. Or if you was in Poundland, it'd be £1, because everything in here is the same price. So another handy thing, the hacksaw. Nice and cheap, $1.50. Don't care if it breaks. And look, it comes with a few spare blades and all. No trouble. And what else have we got? Tell you what else is handy in here. Where has it gone? PVA glue. It's not the best PVA, but yeah, PVA is PVA. We've got some sanding blocks, that super glue. I'd never really use that, to be honest with you. Oh, that's good. The 2-part epoxy, $1.50 or £1. Like, you know, you ain't going wrong with that, are you? And they ain't got it in here, and they got it in some of them. You get a tub of filler. For $1.50, a tub of filler that you can use for all your scenery needs. Well handy. Now, I mentioned there that the filler is one of the things that you can usually get in the deal shop or the pound shop or whatever. This is what they usually look like. It's just basically, actually that one's sealed, so I'm not going to open it. Tough luck, guys. But it's basically filler paste and it's ready to go. So yeah, it's pretty good. Or you can buy it in powder form and mix it up yourself and add some sand and some PVA glue and stuff like that. Make it all set lovely. That's actually kind of what I did on those terrain square pieces. So that's what I would recommend over using just straight out the tub stuff. But this is fine too. It's no problem. I've used this plenty of times as well, and it's really good.
but generally I'll coat the whole thing later on in loads of PVA and spraying it with PVA and all the rest. So yeah, it all holds itself together eventually anyway. But yeah, this is cool, and for that price it's so handy. And for our uses, I mean, you're not using much of this unless you're making a big piece of terrain. Like, it's such good value. I mean, if you're just using it for basing, it's going to last you ages, and in fact the tub will probably dry out long before you actually get it all used, unless you do them all as a batch. Now it's time for a little update on my Idic Beer Terrain Square Challenge entry, which I divided into 4 pieces and decided to concentrate on 1 piece at a time as such. Although I've kind of concentrated on 2, but that's by the by. One of them I've been working on quite a bit, and so I'm going to give you a little look at that now. Ta-da! So, what I did, on top of the mound that I'd made, I'd put some filler on it and stuff like that, as you'll see with some of the other pieces, because this is 1 of 4. So with the other 3, I haven't got very far, so I'll show you this against those in a short while. But this is, on top of that, I just put a load of really crappy scrap. So I organised out my scrap that I was going to use into sort of 3 or 4 piles. First one being stuff that hasn't really got much shape at all. It's just really crap, and I do want to mostly cover it. And then sort of slightly better quality stuff, like, you know, things that has got shape and stuff, like, you know, like, say, like, for example, like this thing here sticking out. That's kind of second place stuff like that. And then first place, you know, the best stuff was actual glyphs and things like this platform from the green one that I'm using up here. You know, citadel bits and bobs. You know, I've got a towel thing. So what I'm doing, I'll show you. This is the back end. So this is the inside of the enclosure. So the scrap heap is going to butt up to it either side here. So this is inside where no, actually it's butts up there and there. Sorry. So the scrap heap continues on. There's going to be a bit of a shanty hanging over the top of this, and then on this side is where the gate comes across. So it's going to cut across there. So this is a sort of place where the grots can come up, and they can climb up here, and then you can sit one up here, then climb up here and use this bit up here too. And it's sort of this side of the pile is more manageable as a way to get up. And they've got this tunnel that leads from the inside to the outside. So the outside is out here. Ta-da! And there's a glyph there for many, lots. And there's some mushrooms that the grots are tending. There's actually the other side of the tunnel as well. I've put some, well, just the other side of these tyres, there's some other mushrooms here that are growing. I've got a lot of basing detail to add on yet, of course. There's that paper that I was talking about using, corrugated paper. It's just sort of a nice lining for the grots for the tunnel. I'll make some special rules perhaps so that only grots can pass through this. Everyone else has to treat it as impassable or whatever, but the grots can pass through it. But yeah, I mean, I've used a few cool little details. Let me point out a few odds and sods. So these are some nice gas canisters. There's another one sort of tucked inside of this old chassis of this truck. There are actually 2 broken truck chassis in here. There's this piece of towel loot, this like drone thing that's sort of chucked in there. That's quite a good bit. There's a part of the terrain from the Speed Freaks there cut into it. And I've done the same on this side too. There's another piece of the Speed Freaks terrain cut in here. And what other cool bits and bobs have we got in here? Oh, we've got all sorts of bits. You know, bits that I've, like, things that I've done little blue stuff sculpts of, using green stuff, using that blue stuff, or I don't know how to pronounce it in the Japanese. That's instant sculpt stuff. I was having a little try with that, some hatch doors, and you know, just for my own use. And I thought, nah, it's crap. I'll just chuck it on the scrap pile. Some little cogs and bits and bobs, little details like that. The top of the driver's hatch of the Ridge Runner from the. So I used that in the Ridge. Cut that off for making my Ridge Runner for the Ridge Runner contest, and I've got to update you guys on that one soon. I've got to work on that when I've finished on this a little bit more. There's some barbed wire and bits and bobs in there. I was never very keen on this side but it doesn't matter because it's going to be butted up against another bit anyway, so it doesn't need to be great, that bit particularly. This bit's facing out, so I wanted that to look sort of a bit imposing, a little bit more sort of jaggedy and sort of like you can't come in, because I think the Kr00zA have wanted it to still look like a scrap heap, and it is a scrap heap, but they've wanted to make it a functional scrap heap to hide their Kr00zA tank factory that's going on the inside, and to be able to defend it a little bit, keep a watch out. So yeah, I'm fairly chuffed with it. I had great fun making it. I really can say that, you know, even if I don't win, which, I mean, I've seen some really, really great entries from other people, so I doubt I'll win, but I feel like I won because I had a fantastic time making it. So I'm gonna now get it painted up to a reasonable standard. I don't think I'll get it finished to my standard before the end of the competition, but hey, you know, I'll have it looking tabletop at least, so you guys can enjoy it. But I'll want to pick out do some high detail on the mushrooms and some, you know, some real sort of rust streaks and stuff like that. But I'll do a basic rust and all the rest. But yeah, wicked, innit? I love it. What we got here is my little Kr00zA mech shop. So I basically used the mech shop model because I do want to be able to perhaps use it in game as it standardly is. So I don't think this is overstepping the bounds of what a base should be for it, because it doesn't actually have a basic size. It doesn't state it in the rules or anything like that. So that's another reason why I've separated it off from the others. So there's 4 pieces, like I say, to make this enclosed scrapyard. So this one, its back edge of the scrap pile is here, so I'm going to build this scrap pile up a bit more. And like I say, this is the filler that I used over the top of the clay and the foam and everything else. So yeah, I'll build the scrap pile up a bit more up over this, and through the door and over here, so it blocks up the door a little bit, just enough that a Kr00zA can sort of poke through the top, climb over the scrap and poke through the top, because I do want it that each piece has a Kr00zA run through, so that you can excuse the fact that the Kr00zA can move through the terrain. Excuse me, I've got a bit of a weird throat thing going on. So what I'm going to do with this one is lots of crackle effect on this, mostly. So I'll have sand and mostly crackle effects, because this is, after all, going to be at the flattest, driest area where they're going to be actually working. I haven't glued this yet, so I can choose where that's going to go. It just so happens that 2 of those Lego Technic tracks, or whatever they are, train tracks or whatever they were, they just are perfect for the runners on this. So I've got to clean out the glue from in there. But yeah, it's pretty savage actually that actually sits there quite well. It does make that a bit of an incline on there, but you know what, it ain't gonna notice too much. So here's I've got the table as well, which is I'm not sure if I want to go with it or not. What do you guys think? You can let me know in the comments, because this one ain't going to be finished yet. So let me know whether I should include the table or not, because it might be a bit in the way, because by the time you've got a Kr00zA tank actually approaching, you know, I've got these down to sort of stop it getting dirty out to you know, to take the load a little bit. But once you've got a Kr00zA tank approaching, maybe that's a little bit in the way. I'm not sure. Maybe it can stay, but then maybe it's a bit tall for a Kr00zA even, so I don't know, I'm not sure. We'll see, with or without. You guys can help me decide. But yeah, that's as far as I got with that one, really. I just want to show you guys a little bit of an example with the clay. I'll show you a picture of it all sort of together in a little while as well, just sort of show.
Now, boys and gits, it's time for Dear Dread. Tanya asks, Dear Dread, who is that Krooza guy you keep mentioning? In your last video you said you learnt from him. Who is he? Well, Tanya, it's a good question. He's actually a friend that I met through a forum years ago. So he was posting in a forum called the Waaagh forum. That was back in the early noughties, right up until, I don't know, about 2010, 2012, something like that. I'm not sure quite when it was he stopped, I can't quite remember. But he had been posting there for a long time, and he was one of the most inspiring ORK builders out there. For me, he really sort of showed me what was possible and really opened my eyes up to all the possibilities. So I had been commenting on his posts and stuff like that, and then I actually moved home myself for work, and I just posted in the forum, just, you know, Lucy saying, oh, I'm moving house, blah, blah, blah. And he happened to sort of notice it and go, I live there, the place where I was going to move to. And I thought he was just pulling my leg, you know. So I sort of said, well, yeah, it'd be cool to meet up, sort of thing. And he said he'd meet me at a pub. So I sort of went along to this pub, half expecting him to sort of stand me up and just be having a laugh at me, you know, from behind the confines of his keyboard, you know. But no, he was there, and he was a sound fellow actually, and I got on really, really well with him. So we've become good friends, and he's actually out of the 40k hobby entirely now. He doesn't want to touch GW with a barge pole, which is a shame because he did some fantastic work. But he said that he always produced those ORK models because there was a lot lacking. You know, the range was really lacking a lot of models, although they were described in the codexes and stuff. They were never really provided with anything decent. So he was just trying to replace, you know, fill a hole, I suppose he was saying. And after the Orcs got a few new vehicles, like they got the truck and the battle wagon and stuff like that, he started to lose interest in. And there was a lot of other things going on with GW that put him off, so he just had enough. But talking of Krooza, that leads me on to this week's community showcase, because you gits ain't been sending me enough pictures. So I'm going to showcase some of Krooza's work because it is so very inspiring.
Now guys, this is the first community showcase model I want to show you by Krooza. Now this is a truck, or his idea of what a truck should really be. So he's used a battle wagon and a truck and a few other bits and bobs to put this together. So it has the tracks that will go on the back here. They need fixing. There's a couple of snap-offs and stuff, so I need to fix the tracks. And there's the wheels as well that go on the front. So just imagine it with those on. So the gunner also needs repair. He needs a gun and his hands fixed and stuff like that. But he's made it so that the back, rather interestingly, comes off. So you've got some nice detail in the back there, the seats for the boys. And then inside of the cab, if we just lift that off, inside of the cab, we've got, there's the hands and the gun for the gunner up on the roof. And we've got a driver, and he'll fit in there, and the steering wheel into there. So we've got a driver, and we've got this other dude here with a, what's he got his hands on? Oh, he's supposed to actually have his hands on that axe, which is broken off as well, rolling around in there. So there's a few repairs to do. So what I'm asking you chaps is, out of all of my Krooza models that I'm going to show off, is to tell me which one you want me to work on as my next project. So once I'm done with the Train Square challenge, and while I'm working on the Ridge Runner and the Grot Tank project, what other project should I be working on? So should it be this one, which is fairly cool, needs a good bit of fixing and stuff to do. So that's a really nice model. So that's option number 1, okay? Now it's time to show you option number 2. Now then, option number 2. This one needs obviously a lot of work to be finished. It's only in a sort of raw state, so it's got nice detailing going on with the tracks here, really like that. But there's a lot needs to be done up the top here, and it's got some kind of a scorcher weapon on it, so not really sure how I'm going to use it in game. It's definitely a scorcherish sort of thing, speedy one. It's beautiful, just not sure what I'm going to use it as. So yeah, but that's option number 2 anyway. Beautiful. Option number 3. Now this one is another cool tank. It actually doesn't need too much doing to it at all, really. A few things just to sort of make it fit with my army and stuff like that. Gonna have to make something magnetic, I suppose, so that we can make this weapon something that's actually game legal. These can just be big shooters, I suppose. But yeah, not too much to do to that one. So if you pick that one, I don't know what I'll do much, really. A few things, but yeah, pretty cool, huh? It's a nice model. I just want to show it off to you guys, really. It's another cool Krooza creation. Model number 4 is this beast. This one's got a lot more to do to it. Obviously, as you can see, it's very plain at the moment. This turret is removable as well, so we're going to have to obviously make this magnetic so we can have some different turrets on this as well. Probably, I don't know what I'm going to do with these other weapons that are on here at the moment. That zappy gun is actually got some movement in it, so that's cool. But yeah, it's double tracked, you see, like it's used two lots of the Imperial tracks and some kind of Second World War, probably tank underneath, I'm not sure which one it is. But yeah, awesome awesome, love it. So that's option number 4, guys. Let's have a look at option number 5. Option number 5 is this amazing battle wagon. I mean, that is awesome. It needs one of the wheels, need repairing on it, that needs to go back on. But just have a look at some of these details here, guys. I'll bring it up closer to the camera. That is just incredible, isn't it? I've given it a quick brushing off of some of the dust, so there was some colour underneath as it goes. Because when I sort of unboxed this at Christmas, it was so dusty you couldn't even tell there's any colour underneath. It was kind of funny, really. Because Krooza is an orc. He literally is an orc. How he's given up the hobby art, I will never understand, because literally the guy is an orc. Look at the dust on this. He lives like one. So that's option number 5, guys. Needs a very good clean, needs the wheel fixed, and it needs the weapons fixed here and here. I need to make it sort of like game legal, I suppose. But yeah, and look, this is one of the coolest things about it as well. Like, it's got this sort of wheelie bar at the back. That's so cool, isn't it? Really good, because it really sort of gives the idea of the speed this thing is really fast. So yeah, love that. That there is option number 5. So, not included in the options, because this is not being dealt with just yet, because this needs my painting skills when they're at their very best, because this is just a box to house an amazing model. Some of you may have seen it on the channel already. Here's a door, so it can be used as a piece of terrain, especially once you've taken the lid off. There we go, take the lid off. It actually becomes a fort inside. It's amazing. But this is my favourite orc model of all time, so I'll push that back and I'll build it in front of you here. So I've got to lift out my lid. Let me just get this lid out without having all my bits falling out. It's a little bit tight. There we are, that's better. Okay, so we've got a tray of bits, and inside of here, magnetically, and it's still got detail on the inside. Completely unnecessary. Doesn't need to be there at all, but it is, which is what I love about this kit. This is amazing. So, I'll take out the options so they're not going to get broken. I think it has to be treated with some love and respect. So, model itself. Ugh. Boom! Fits onto the base. That's why it's all broken there, because he's so heavy he's broken it with his big feet. There we are. See that? Stomp. So it's a Mega Dread, right? This is the Krooza Mega Dread. Now there are different options for the shoulders. You've got some rockets, lobber, or you can use this arm here, which has several different options for it. You've got this supercharged weapon that can fit over the top. Super cool. It's also got a lifter dropper, which is my favourite thing to go on there. That goes on that way around, yeah. Lifter dropper, very, very cool. Unfortunately, I don't think that's in the rules currently, is it? But oh, it might be on the Mecha Dread or whatever they're calling it now. What other options have we got there? This is an option for up there as well. Another blasty gun. For down here, there are several different options. So you can replace the blasty weapon with a chainsaw, saw arm, Or the blasty weapon can become a harpoon. Or can be a las cannon type thing. Got this. It's also got a burner option. Or if you don't like that burner option, you've got this burner option. You know, why not? This one, which kind of fits the theme of the rest of it, I suppose. And what else? Oh, I know there is more. Sure there was more. Okay, so moving on from that, we've got these two sponsors here, so we can put big shooters there. There's also a light, a searchlight there, but I'd rather just have the big shooters on there. I'm going to make some more sponsors for the front there, because there's not very many for that. For this arm, you've got a shield, which doesn't really work with the big shooter so well, but yeah, you've got a shield, which actually the shield works best when you've got this arm being used with... No, actually, no, what am I talking about? Yeah, no. Actually, I swear that goes, the axe. Oh, that's my favourite weapon. That's so cool. Look at the hydraulics on it and everything like that. Glyph on the fist. Oh, it's awesome. Really like that. It's my favourite. I've got a little piece on the bottom there that broke off. There. Needs repairing. That was in transit. And, of course, you have to have a claw. Every dread has to be able to have a claw. So there you go. There's his claw. Beefy. Brutal. Lovely. So, that's my favourite model of all time, actually, for orcs, and it was made by my friend, and I had it sat in my cabinet for years teasing me, and finally I bought it off him, so there we go. I finally got my hands on it. So there, chuffed with it too. So this isn't one of the options I'm offering up for me to complete, because this needs my finest painting, so I need a good year or so before I'm ready to paint that, I'll say. So there we are. That's that.
Make sure you like the video. Make sure you leave a comment. Ask me a Dear Dread question, please. Write to me if you want your model showcase in the community showcase. Answer my question about the Mech's Garage tool bench there. Just get writing. I love communicating with you guys. It's all about community interaction for me. That's why I'm doing the competition. And if you get your friends subscribed, if you're not subscribed yourself already, of course, get yourself subscribed, but get your friends subscribed too, because when we get to 750, like I told you, I'll announce those 3 amazing prizes. And when we get to 1,000, we'll be doing the draw. So make sure you do it. Enough said.